Welcome everybody to the inaugural Astro Cafe of the 2024-2025 season. It is September 9, 1924, and I'm so glad to see you. 2024. And yes, we are very pleased to have everybody here. And the theme of the day is going to be what did you do this summer? But we also have some forward-looking things. And so to that end, I heard, Lauri, that you want to speak. And we'll talk a bit about Astro Cafe. And can anybody speak about the Vox concert? You can too, Lauri. Great. So that's about the future. And then what I know we want to talk about is, again, the FDAO star parties. So are you going to be talking about that, Lauri, also? But then we want to talk about the Island Star Party and the Saanich Fair. And then we want to, if anybody has some of their own astro adventures to talk about from this summer, that would also be awesome. Okay. So I'm going to.
David had his hand up.
Who's got a hand up? David. Hi, David.
Randy, if you just give me a spot, I just wanted to let people know that we're changing the distribution list for the beginner's SIG. So I've got quite a large list that I've been managing on my own, but I want to go to a center managed list.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that people still want to be involved. If they do, let me know, and then we'll make sure you appear on the new list.
And I'd also like you to maybe lead a discussion about September 17.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen, if I can remember. This has been too long, eh? Why do we ever stop? Share screen and share. And
Yeah, do you want to just click that OK? Just click the OK there. Good. And then if you drag that over and expand it. Yeah, that's it.
okay, so now I want to go to
Yeah.
let's go to home
That's it.
and
Great.
I want to show off some of my handicrafts this summer to the people who are in person. One thing is I fixed up this sign. I don't know if people remember, but it was definitely showing its age. And so I repainted the elements, but also it's only on one side. And so I did this on the other side. So we have it on both sides. Anyway, that was my bits of Astro arts and crafts this summer.
It's very impressive.
It's impressive. They say it's impressive. Marji says there are people we don't know. That's right. So, first of all, I'm going to say I'm Randy Enkin, and among other positions, I get to be the coordinator of the Astro Cafe. And so I think Natasha, first of all, you are a old member, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Randy, I can't see you because your Astro Cafe sign is on the.
Oh, heavens. I will unshare. Thank you. If I can remember how, stop share. Okay, and then what we can even do, I bet, is pin.
In the speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can pin these people and
On
hi.
on the view,
The
in the
view.
corner,
Speaker view.
you do speaker view.
Speaker view.
Under view, the upper right corner.
Although the laptop has.
Okay, no, you see that, I'm doing it just on mine. You'll have to do it on yours.
Yeah, Alex has to do that.
Yeah, just go up to the three dots and say pin. No, in RASC Victoria.
Ah,
Right.
pin.
Okay, so, one person who is new to me is Natasha, who's been writing, and then you've recruited a new member.
I have,
Okay,
that's right.
so who are you? Tell us about this.
Okay, well, I'm not a new member. My membership lapsed a couple of years ago. But those of you who have been around the longest will remember we worked together on the International Year of Astronomy in 2009, where we had the big event at the Bay Center. And I arranged for Chris Hadfield to come to town, and it was quite a memorable summer. And so my friend of many years, Dr. Shaunak McPherson, has recently moved to Victoria, and so she has joined as a new member. And my background is not at all in astronomy. My background is in conservation and classical music. And I came into RASC from Jim Hesser, because I was working at the Victoria Symphony at the time. And he came into the executive director's office and talked about maybe doing a concert for the International Year of Astronomy. And our executive director really didn't pick up on it, but I approached Jim later and I said, this is a fantastic idea. And I think we can work together. And that's how it all started, through Jim, really. So, and my interest in astronomy has to do with the brilliant way that astronomers do public outreach. So I'm a professional fundraiser originally, but now I'm an advisor to conservation groups. I work with Environment Canada a couple of days a week. But I've always been very impressed with how the astronomical community does public outreach. And so that's an inspiration. I think the nonprofit sector can learn a lot from
Such a cool story.
Question. Did Chris Hatfield reciprocate by inviting you to the ISS for you to give a talk there?
He didn't, but he actually took, when he was commander, he had with him a USB device, a memory stick with 100 of my late husband, Henri Van Bentham, his Organiverse, which was featured in that Bay Center.
Yes.
So the whole artwork was up there on the space station with Chris.
That's fabulous.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
Shauna, can you tell us about
Yes.
this one?
Yes, I bring nothing to the table, sorry. Except interest and friendship with Natasha. So, but I am interested in exploring it more, and I have a wonderful view. I live at Clover Point, if you know that. So I have this view of the sky. So I said to Natasha, I should get a telescope. I could just sit in my house and look out, at the sky. But I am a retired professor. My specialization was actually mindfulness. I teach teachers and healthcare professionals to teach mindfulness. So I am really interested in, kind of being mindful of the world and the stars, and appreciate it.
Great.
Yeah.
Are there any?
I can use 15 minutes of mindfulness. That's fine. You can do it to me.
Are there any other people who are new or are relatively new and would like to tell us who they are? I think this is a great thing to do here.
I'm new. I don't have a camera, but my name's Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I just joined this summer, and I'm really into astrophotography. I studied astronomy at UVic, but I just kind of morphed into a hobby now. I didn't do anything with it career-wise after I got my bachelor's degree. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here and join the group. I used to do some outreach stuff. I'm from California originally, but I've lived in Victoria for about 8 years. And I used to docent at a local observatory we had there and really enjoyed that.
Great.
Well, I hope you find this group
Welcome.
welcoming and enjoyable. I certainly, I'm a relative newbie here and I found it to be my community, so I hope you find it's the same.
So you're all signed up for the astrophotography SIG night, Megan?
Yeah, I'm on the mailing list. I haven't really done anything with the Zenfolio yet.
Oh. Well, look forward to seeing your images on it then.
Thanks. I'm still new to it, but I enjoy doing it.
So
And
Megan,
we
Megan,
said
Megan, you definitely need to join us for outreach out at the center of the universe. So I hope to see you there.
Yeah.
Derek.
Well, I've been a member for 5 to 6 years, but the last 2 years, I have not been participating really at all for health reasons. I say hi to everyone whose face I remember. Hi, David. Yes, I'd like to be a member of the SIG to continue that. But, you know, I'm just pleased to be back and
That's good.
relatively healthy. And actually very healthy.
Keep up the good work.
Great.
Thank you.
Welcome to everybody then.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue sharing the screen a bit. Because I want to, this meeting again. I want to pull up this spreadsheet. And so what we have is each day, probably could zoom this in a bit.
That would be good.
That would be good. I don't see where I do that though. Well, I'm not going to. So then it's under view,
Yeah, under view.
zoom.
Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you.
So, this is a spreadsheet that, I guess started years ago under Chris. And, I've been continuing. And so just to tell you about the structure of the, you know, the underbelly of the Astro Cafe. First of all, the two people who have keys to come into the Fairfield Community Place are Alex Schmidt and me. And each week we need somebody who will kind of be the master of ceremonies. And this person doesn't have to be in the room, can just as easily be working from home. And then we have to have somebody who is in the room who will be the tech, who is, there's always going to be a few people who know what's going on, but we just want somebody who will be the responsible person for setting up the computer. And the delay this morning is I brought the computer home to over the summer to make sure that it was updated and stuff, and not everything made it back here. So I'm called a bad tech. Anyway, as you see, like on the 23rd, we're still needing somebody. We have Ken McGill is one of the regulars. Chris Pedersen and I both can do it. But we sure could use some more people that will do this job. And then we have this extremely wonderful position called Zoom recorder. And what happens is when Joe is not about, then somebody hits record, and then we give it to Joe and he does his magic. I suppose, Joe, it's possible for somebody else to put it on YouTube and such? Or do you have some special sauce?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because of the way the account's set up. So I would end up having to post it on the Victoria Center's YouTube channel, but there's a lot more work that can be done by a variety of people. I mean, I also take notes of the meeting and I record the meeting. So if someone wants to jump in and start taking notes, that would be great. Typically, I use the notes to post the summary to our website. So our website actually has has a record of every Astronomy Cafe, so people can search and find the video that is attached to the meeting and stuff like that. And you can also add links. You can make it into whatever kind of job you want. So if anyone is a compulsive note taker like me, let me know.
Joe, there is an automatic, I don't know how good it works, how well it works, but there's an automatic note taker in Zoom somehow, some AI companion that.
Yeah, for transcriptions. Yeah. And there's another one built into YouTube, but I haven't investigated it. If someone would volunteer to do that, that'd be great because I'm kind of old school.
Oh, so am I. I just saw it there.
Yeah, you know, AI is definitely going to make the job easier. Someone just has to figure out how it works.
Yeah,
Get it to sing and dance for us.
it actually works quite well, but it's not. It still needs to be curated. You can't let it go on its own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway, I just thought to put that pitch out there. I mean, I'm doing the job. It's not a big deal, but we'd be lovely to have someone else involved who's interested.
It's very valuable. We get hundreds of people watching the YouTube after the fact. Sometimes thousands if it's a famous speaker, but we're typically getting a few hundred people viewing it later on. So it's not just a
YouTube definitely gives us exposure, and that's all well and good, but I'm not really into the numbers. But what I am really pleased about is that it means that people who cannot attend, either because they're not in Victoria or they're not mobile, we have members up and down the island and elsewhere in the world, they can subscribe to the channel and get notified.
Yeah,
you know, when the meeting's done. And so if they can't participate in real time using Zoom, they can always catch it on YouTube. And I get a lot of positive feedback about that.
I really, really appreciate it, and especially when I can't make it, it's really nice to keep up with the community. Now, then we also have this column where we say what we're going to do. Like next week, Kirsten wants to talk about a beginner's telescope journey, which is going to be great. Somewhere, let's just make a decision. Do we want to do our telescope exchange or buy and sell on the November 25? What would be a good date for that? Anybody have a better suggestion? There we go. Telescope buy and sell. It's official.
Randy, you can put me in for host on the 4th of November.
Excellent. No E.
No E.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So what I'm saying is it's a great institution we have going here. Takes a little bit of work to make it happen. And I think that many hands makes small work. So come and join the team. That's what I say. Okay. I think it's now time for the Lauri show.
Jeez,
So the
okay.
topics that I know I want to hear about is how has the Center of the Universe Star Parties gone for the summer? And what's coming up? And in particular, let's talk about the Vox concerts and the coincident Explore the Moon Night.
Right.
International
Explore the Moon Night. Yeah.
View the Moon or whatever. We can put that up on the screen.
One of those. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I've been away for about a month, so I was I played truant at the star parties, but we have been having Saturday night star parties since June, and they have every single one of them has been sold out. Depending on the weather, sometimes not people kind of give up at the end if the weather isn't great. But in fact, actually, most of the summer the weather has been really great, and we've had some lovely nights up there this year with some stellar evenings. I think people have liked being able to hear some of the speakers that we've had, and I think that it's a continuation of what we will try to do. Our last star party was last Saturday night, and people stayed through till about like 20 to 11, quarter to 11, even though it was cloudy, and we still had people hanging around the center for a while, and people were chatting away, and so it was really quite fun. We had we've usually what happens is we have the speaker speaks twice at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and the 8 o'clock presentation is always really filled, and then the 9 o'clock presentation isn't quite as filled. So if anybody wants to kind of go to presentations next year, I suggest that you go to the 9 o'clock show so you can get a seat. So I think that's been really helpful. Ben Dorman has been able to get a couple of Vespa telescopes out, which are the little ones. They're only about this high, and you can put them out, and they stack the images, and you take a picture. You've got a picture on your phone, and you can walk away with a picture on your phone really fast. And those have been really quite good. This year, he's been trying to work on those. Shirley, Butner. Oh my goodness, just lost. Sherry, thank you. Oh my gosh. Sherry Butner opened up the 16-inch telescope a lot of times this year, and people were really happy to be able to see through the telescope, and were able to get good pictures of the moon and Saturn and Jupiter and that kind of thing. So that was really fun. And David, a lot of people were up a lot. David was up almost every single weekend. Ken Mallory was there almost every weekend.
Well, actually, I'll tell you, we were sort of concerned about not having enough volunteers, but I don't think we have any problems there now.
No,
I mean,
it's
there's
been great.
definitely some regulars. Scott Mayer, welcome back, Scott Mayer, to those parking lots now, and Jennifer and Alex, of course.
And Alex.
Brock would typically be beside me with the solar scope. I would follow. Actually, I had a good time this summer following Venus after sunset. So some very memorable nights.
Yeah, it was lovely. So thank you to everybody who came up. Dave Payne was up. Some Marji was there.
Yeah, Kirsten as well.
Kirsten
and
was
Kevin.
there. I mean,
Kevin.
I'm sure I've missed lots of people. Kevin was there. So we've had lots of people come up. It's been really good to see everybody. And with some of those really nice nights, when the sky kind of opened up beautifully at about 10 o'clock, that people just stayed and didn't want to leave. So it was that was really fun. So we will now have our star parties once a month. So for October, November, December, January, February, March, we'll have one a month. And they will be kind of in the same vein, the same kind of thing that we do, but they just won't be all the time. And then we'll start back up again twice a month probably in May and June, and then back in September for next year. Back in June for next year. So try that. Yes.
Will there be another competition between the different institutions?
I'm sure we could make that happen.
Should we assemble our team RASC again?
Yes, definitely have to have another team RASC. Yes, for sure. We can throw that in January or February or something like that. So that would be great. Yeah.
We see a terrible sky.
Well, we can only get better, right? Yeah. Okay. So what's happening next week is Vox Humana. So for any of you who don't know, Vox Humana is a wonderful a cappella choir of maybe about 22, 23 singers. It's not a very big choir, but absolutely glorious. Older music, does a range of some older kind of Renaissance music, but also does very new compositions, and almost at least once a year, if maybe not more than that, and maybe Randy knows more about that than I do, is that they actually have composers do something for them, like actually make
the
some new
leader-
music for them.
The leader, Nicholas Fairbank, composes music for them. I just checked, it's all sold out.
Yes, it is. Yes, both all 3 days. It's 3 nights.
Ticket for Friday.
Okay, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
I see all
so
3 days are sold out. Is there an interest in having people with telescopes on the parking lot, and are they welcome?
well, absolutely. Like I really think that would be great. I mean, if it's, I don't know what the weather is going to be like, but if the weather is great, then I would do it. I mean, obviously after, when people come out, it's usually I think the programs are 7:30 to 8:30, I believe, something like that. And then after that, people normally just go home. So because we don't open the center for them, but if we had telescopes out, I'm sure that people would stick around
I actually
do that.
I checked on the position of the moon for those nights, and at least on Saturday night, which is explore the moon night,
Yes, yes.
it's well positioned right where people exit.
Oh, fantastic. Well, then, so if people would like to bring up, and we can put the telescopes out that are from the center too. I mean, that's not a problem. If you don't have your own telescope, we've got 2 or 3 that people can set out and use. So you don't have to feel like you've got your own telescope. We have them there, and people can bring binoculars, and we can have something like that. I don't think that would be any problem whatsoever with the Vox Humana people. The commissionaires are there for the time, so they have to stick around for the while. So it's not like they're leaving immediately or anything either. So I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be terrific.
I'll make a point to be there Saturday night.
Mhm.
I have tickets for the Sunday night performance, but Saturday I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Lauri,
So yes.
Will the people at the gate give us any trouble about going up, or can we just say that we're setting up telescopes?
What I would do is, because we haven't really done this before, so the people at the gate, the commissioners at the gate, would have only the list that came from Vox Humana. So we would have to tell them that there were several people that might be coming up with telescopes. If you are interested, what I would do is maybe just give me an email or a quick phone call, and I can put you on the list that will be down at the gate. And if yeah, I'm just thinking, if you have got an RASC sign for your window, like just your window of your car, I can tell people too that there may be another couple of people coming up for that. I mean, you can come up kind of, like, I don't know, sometime like anytime between 7:30 and 8:30, and be setting up and ready to go. And then we'll make sure that the commissioners know that you're coming. Is that good enough? If anybody's interested in doing it, I can just start to make a little bit of a list. I don't want to, I mean, I don't want there to be somebody that can't get in. But you'll need to kind of give me a heads up. So if that's okay. I'm up there myself on Saturday night. But I'm not there Friday night and Sunday night, but I can let people know. So, okay. Yes, Dave.
I have a telescope that was delivered to me by Alistair Lane. That is one of the small scopes that we had with the Victoria Center. It comes in 2 boxes. It's sitting in my garage, and originally it was intended to come up to the center of the universe. for use by whatever groups are up there to use it.
Right.
What we need to do is get it up to you sometime, and give you a quick intro to how it works.
Okay, the center is open from now, from Tuesdays to Saturday, 10 till 3. And if you go in it, like if there's usually somebody there, Calvin Schmid would be able to kind of to take it, or I'm up there on Tuesday, if you'd like to come up on Tuesday to, you know, to kind of show me.
The rest of the week, it's open from 2 till.
From 10 until 3, it's open.
I'll see when I can get away this week and see if I can come up.
Yeah, so if you can bring it up, that would be great.
One large box and one small box.
Okay, yeah, we just cleaned the second room of everything, and now we're gonna start
Yeah, it's
putting things back in, but that's okay. That's what happens. Okay, thank you. Okay, good, we can get it going. All right, so the other thing that I would like to say then is that we're having a very special program on Thursday night, September the 19th. We have Randy Atwood coming Randy Atwood and Betty Robinson, who are both board of directors from the National RASC, are coming into town and going to be here for about 4 days or so, visiting some friends and family. And I encouraged Randy to see if he would come and help with a presentation while he was here, with Bob McDonald, who lives in Victoria, and Chris Gaynor, who lives in Victoria, and Randy Atwood. We have 3 of the most important space historians in Canada sitting in the same room at the same time. Like, this is actually quite amazing. And so they are going to be doing a presentation on the 19th. The doors will open at about 6:45. We're going to have some light refreshments beforehand, and then the program will be from 7:30 to 8:30 with some discussion and questions and things, and then we'll be finished about 9. So it's not a long evening, at all. We will have the planetarium open. We will have the gallery open. We'll have the gift shop open, but the dome will not be open that night. So part of it will be, but not everything. We'd love to invite everybody. I'm going to be sending, I guess, would it be you, Joe, that I'll send all the information to get up on the website? Would that be the best? Is Joe there? Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. And we're just getting it all kind of pulled together for today. So what they're doing, what they're going to be talking about is kind of Canada in space, and some things that happened in the past and what's kind of happening in the future. So Randy Atwood is going to actually be talking about the first space mission for Mark Garneau, who was our first astronaut who went up into space, and he's going to be talking a little bit about that mission. And then Bob McDonald is going to be doing a presentation about some of the other astronauts and people who did spacewalks who are Canadian. And he wrote a book called The Spacewalkers. Some of you may even have that book. And he's going to be talking a little bit about that, not just one, but he's going to be kind of pulling together some of the innovative things that some of our astronauts have done. And then Chris Gaynor is going to be talking about the Canadarm. So he's got kind of the past, present, and future. So basically Canadarm 1, 2, and then 3, which is going to be on the new Lunar Gateway that is coming up. So he's been doing some work on that, and so we've got these 3 different people who are going to be giving presentations, and they'd be happy to take discussion questions and things. Because we have to pay for commissionaires and we have to have some refreshments, we are charging $10 for this, but it's not anything for the FDAO or the RASC to get any profit from it all. This is just simply to cover our costs. So the tickets will be through the FDAO YEP desk, as everybody normally does, to get tickets from through the FDAO, and those will be going up probably tomorrow. So if you'd like to register and get your name on that, we'll make sure that we get you in on that. So I think that's all that I have for now. I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just a practical question.
Mhm.
What you just said, Lauri, what does that mean? The
Oh.
FDAO.
Friends?
Oh, sorry. FDAO means the Friends of the Dominion Astrophysical Observatory. So we are a charitable organization that runs all the public programming and the school programs and everything for the big plasket telescope that's on top of the hill. If you've ever seen the big white dome that's on top of Saanich Mountain, if you've ever been kind of out by Royal Oak, basically it's we've been there for more than 100 years, and we do the public programming. So the RASC and the FDAO kind of work together because of everybody's doing astronomy at the same time. So
Practically though, like you said, tomorrow the tickets, like.
oh, sorry, it's like Eventbrite, like if like to get tickets through a site that you have to go and register to get the tickets. And we don't do Eventbrite anymore because Eventbrite gave up on charitable organizations and started charging us terribly much in order to have tickets being through there. Even when we were free, we were giving away free tickets, and they still were charging us to give away free tickets. So it was costing us a lot of money. So we went to a new group that's called the YEP desk. But we'll have something on the website that you can just go there and press the button, and it says get tickets, and you can get them through there. So we'll get you a link. Does that make any sense?
So let's keep it on Sky News as well as in the website.
Okay. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We'll get some stuff in there. So I'll get you it as soon as possible. Yeah.
I just want to
Thanks.
add to that.
Yeah.
If you hear me mention something like Center of the Universe, that was a former name of the interpretive center there, and I often use them interchangeably. So you might hear us talk about the Center of the Universe or the FDO star parties. They're kind of typically one and the same.
Actually, Center of the Universe is now it is a registered trademark name.
So we're actually using it anyways, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Yay.
Yay. Yes.
No, not yay that, but yay. Great work. I'm so glad that the star parties worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh, I was wondering, how about the RASC information desk? Because there were lots of requests all summer to get more volunteers for that. Was that okay?
That was not as successful as other years. I would say maybe half the time we had people up at the desk. The other times we just simply put things out and people took them. Melissa and Clint did their utmost best, to try to get people in, but it didn't bring as many people in as other years. And so we'd like to get some new people up there. I think people really enjoy talking to everybody when they get there. It's just a little bit maybe just something that it would be good to kind of have a mentorship kind of program to kind of show what it is. It's not hard at all. But it's really nice to have somebody behind the desk and actual people talking. A couple of times actually, Melissa even said that people even like signed up and then like a day or two before phoned and said, nope, they can't do it. Sorry, we can't go. So it was kind of too bad that it wasn't quite as well I guess, not well done. That's not the word I want. Well populated as it was in other years. So we'll work on it next year again. So.
And I guess the point to the community is it's really fun doing outreach. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you get to talk to lots of people. Okay.
Next thing is we want to talk about the Island Star Party. And so
Yes.
I'm going to share the screen just to show some photos. But if there's anybody that would like to take the floor and kind of talk over some of the photos, that would be great. But you know, the general thing is we got to go back to St. Stephen's in Saanich, and what did we say? 80 people each night, something like that. Very different profile on the Friday night than the Saturday night. The Friday night was kind of the more serious astrophotographers and viewers. And then Saturday night, we were really good at getting the newbies. This is a picture of Chris getting, oh, if anybody can remember the name of the award, but for his work publishing his
Scroll down, it's the title's there.
Ken Chilton.
Simon Newcomb.
Simon Newcomb. Oh, sorry.
I think last year was Chilton and this year was Newcomb.
Okay. Apologies.
Very well. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of go through these pictures. We did our draws. It was a good crowd. Yeah, and so the second night, two excellent speakers. The second night was more the newbies. Like, I set up my telescope to look at the moon, which you could only do just early in the evening and way down south in the yard. And I had lineup for people to look at the moon. This is just in the churchyard. It was kind of funny. The newspaper photographer came while we were setting up. So there was nothing really to show. He was happy. Is anybody going to say anything else about the weekend? Or are we just going to look at some photos?
Did you all camp or just you?
No, well, actually it was close enough for a lot of us that we could actually just go home, and that's exactly what I did. But I do want to say I did meet a lot of fellow kind of observers and photographers, and it was kind of nice. I ended up being beside a couple of people that I got to know fairly well, so I'm hoping that they will join. So it was great.
But you could camp there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'll have to say I don't know if Reg is on. No, Reg is overseas right now, but he brought his astronomy centric tent as well for at least one more year.
Yeah, the Kendrick tent, as it's called.
The Kendrick tent, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
It's pretty.
It's a special tent with a foyer for observing out of, which of course does not have a roof, and then you have a traditional tent attached to it, so you can relax and do your thing.
Yeah, so basically, Reg can just recline and record, and he doesn't even have to do much. I heard he did very well that weekend, though. He managed to capture some good data that weekend.
Hey, I see Bill showing up, and I know that you went to Kobau that same weekend. How did that go?
Is Bill on? I'm not sure if Bill is even on.
You're muted.
Although there's Bill. Yeah.
There, I'm muted now. It went really well. It was happy and sad at the same time. There was a long time person who went up there. He's a contributor to the handbook of the deep sky part of it about visibility and deciding of surface brightness and visibility of objects and stuff like that. But Lee Johnson, and he passed away in the last year, and so he was part of the group that where I sort of hang out. And so for a few people, it was really hard on them, especially like Ken Hewitt White. He's been they've been friends for like ever in the greater Vancouver area. And so for Ken, it was really, really hard. It was like a hard week for him. He kept remembering Lee, and it was, yeah. There was actually a funeral though. I missed it. I got there and I was setting up my tent, and a group of people went by, and they were scattering some ashes on the top of Mount Kobau. So that was kind of cool. And there were some good talks. Peter Saravolo showed up on the last night, and he gave this talk about his projects that he's been working on. I don't know if people know who Peter is. He's a he built some amazing astrographs and mirror maker. And
Deborah,
Deborah is his partner. She's an imager.
She's the face, but he builds the telescopes that she does those beautiful photos with.
Yeah, but so she has a new one now that it's a rescue. So instead of rescuing dogs, he rescues telescopes. So he rescued a telescope from some university in the United States. And so it's essentially a sister telescope to the one in the little dome up at the CU. So it's a 16-inch Shivens Bowler and Shivens. And he went there, and all he had to pay for to get it was the crane to get it out of the place. And then he brought it home and reassembled it and redid the mirror to make it better, he said. Oh, I just got a message from somebody from shoot. Am I back? I'm back. So he redid it all, and she's been using it now to do some imaging because it's like much longer focal length, and so for higher resolution detail stuff. But then he found out about, I think it's a 24-inch Bowler and Shivens that was at, well, it's still at Western University at one of their observatories that they needed to get rid of. And so he spent a couple of weeks at, pardon?
You have a thumbs up.
Is Peter here?
He's right next to you on our screen.
Oh, okay.
So I can say a few words about that if you want.
He disassembled the telescope and has got it, I think, ready for shipping or whatever, but he's got to figure out building an observatory to put it in, because the 16-inch that he got just barely squeezed into his dome. So I don't know what really the plans are, but it's kind of cool.
It's 122 centimeters, not 24-inch. It's the fourth largest telescope in Canada.
Right.
Oh, please.
Wow. So what's that? That's like about 30 inches or something like that, isn't it?
48.
40. Oh, it is a 48. Okay, I was trying to remember what he had said. It's a big telescope. It was like a monster for him to get. Just the mount alone think of the mount that the Plaskett is on and just sort of reduce it by about a half, and that's what he has to deal with. It's crazy. And he then was describing this experimental design that he's come up with for a telescope that he's sort of in the middle of working on, that will involve, what is it? 2 spherical mirrors, so a primary and a secondary, and then a series of lenses to deal with all of the primary, and it's going to be a real monster telescope. So I don't know. The guy's got money to burn, I guess. because that's all he kept talking about. Is like all this is just going to cost him a lot of money, and it's why he can't really fully retire and has to keep his business and not just sell it. And so that was Kobau. We had a couple of really good. Pardon?
How was the view up there? Was it smoky?
We had one night when smoke kind of affected us, but the seeing was ultra exceptional. So we were looking at some hot, small, bright things. So Saturn at over 800 times in my telescope.
Wow.
And it was perfect.
Wow.
It was just perfect. It was like, because the rings are edge on almost.
Yeah.
And it was like you could see that there was slope to the rings. It was like when you're standing on a super steep ski hill cliff kind of thing, looking down. It was crazy. And then other nights it was good. I missed the one where they said it was just like a perfect old-fashioned Kobau night where the sky was crystal clear. That was the Tuesday, and I got there on the Wednesday. And then I spent my days looking for delicious mushrooms and found a lot of them. So it was like, it was totally combining my hobbies.
This is such a good report, Bill. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then I spent all yesterday at Machosen Day with my solar rig. And that's what interrupted me. I sent a picture of a guy because he's looking through one of the scopes, and because they're piggybacked, and his daughter is on his shoulders looking through the other one. So there were lots of people looking at the same time with like two heads over top of telescopes. It was fun. Now, I haven't asked, I don't know if there's not a lot of people here or online, but does anybody have a spare or a giveaway? I'm looking for, say, like an old, well, not the oldest, but a sort of more recent, like a Night Watch or like Turn Left at Orion. I want to get my hands on one of the Explore the Universe books too, even just the little one, to take with us when, now her name's Kirsten, and I go to the Hawaii Nation in Banfield for the thing next week that we're going to. I'd like to add that to like the telescope package that we're dragging up there.
It's Kirsten, Bill. I had a very similar thought. I was actually going to talk to Lauri about that, just to snag the Explore the Universe and the Explore the Moon, like those booklets, even just to use as like demos and that kind of stuff. I also have an old copy of Night.
Like, does the Explore the Universe handbook though? Is that the same? Does it have all the detail like in the smaller little booklet? Like there's like a little like novel type book that is for the Explore the Universe that sort of explains.
That was the older copy.
Yes.
And there is, I mean, there's one up at the center, but we don't have a lot of extra copies of that.
Okay.
We do have a copy of the workbook for the Explore the Moon and Explore the Universe, though.
Do they really sort of explain all that it sort of means the same way that booklet used to?
Not quite as much. They
okay.
I'll see what we can find. We do have copies of the
workbooks
of Night Watch. And we also have a couple, well, it's a bit bigger, couple of copies of the Backyard Astronomy, but that's a lot. So,
Well, just a reminder, and maybe we can talk about this offline, but I've offered to do that presentation or that talk about the beginners observing programs, and what I can do maybe as part of that is maybe do up some handouts that talk about some of the detail structure of the programs.
Yeah. Because I thought that'd be a good thing to have, because I have one of the older original kind of booklets, but it's all I've written all over it.
It's all online, like RASC National has all the details online about the programs, and it's just a matter
I
of
know that part, yeah.
maybe getting it into a format that's handoutable. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see what I've
so
got, guys.
Anyway,
I can get it.
Bill and Kirsten, there was a bunch of email traffic about this, but please tell us, what is this event you're going to be doing?
Okay, so in Jasper, they have, it's an annual thing called the Dark Sky Festival, the Jasper Dark Sky Festival. It's a week-long event, speakers come. It's a very busy week of all sorts of activities based on space and science and that sort of thing. And the RASC from Edmonton goes there every year, a whole crew of them, and set up in the park and do night and daytime observing for the public. So I don't know if they do it all week long, but I do know that they're there for the Friday and Saturday, because I was there for that a few years back. And it came up that there was a request from people who are involved in organizing the Jasper one, that the Hawaiian Nation in Bamfield area at the north end of like the Pacific Rim Park, they would like to do a similar thing and get the park designated a dark sky preserve, just the same as Jasper has that designation. And in order to promote this, they want to start up a dark sky festival too. So they put out a request through Chris Gaynor asking for a couple of people to go and represent the RASC, bringing some telescopes to be able to do nighttime observing. And then I told them I have solar stuff, so we're going to try and squeeze in some solar stuff in the daytime. And on the 2 nights that we're going to be there, so it's going to be not this Wednesday, but next Tuesday and Wednesday night. Tuesday and Wednesday will be in Bamfield as they do a test run. So they've got a few speakers. They also have Luke Samard from up at the DAO is going to be giving a talk. And actually one of the people giving a talk there is the talk that I went to, a breakfast talk when I was at the Jasper one. So I thought that was kind of funny. And so we're gonna be doing the observing representation part, but what Kirsten was talking about is if it's not good weather, we're going to be doing stuff that will be inside. And so that's sort of what it is. And it came up that Chris suggested that maybe we could donate a telescope. And so Brenda Matthews, who gave a talk to us last year on one of the Wednesday nights meetings, she was the one where all of a sudden a whole bunch of young women came in. It was her guide group for the talk also. And she had a friend who had a telescope, an 8-inch Skywatcher Dob that she was willing to donate. And so I picked that up, and I've, over the last month, been sort of refurbishing it and tuning it up and getting it all like in perfect condition so that we donate a scope to them. I found some better eyepieces in a bag that I had that I'm going to throw in with it, and change the finder scope because I don't like straight through finders, and I've had a spare right angle one and then bought a cheap red dot online. And so it's going to be a perfect little package. But that's is why I want something like a program so that they will have something to do with it, as opposed to just here's a telescope, good luck with that. And so it should be good. It'll be nice. They'll have it. And then actually, when I was talking to Mark from Pearson College, the astronomy guy, he likes taking students to First Nations communities, and he regularly takes a group to the Hawaiian Nation. And so when I saw him at a point during the summer, I said, oh, this is great. Actually, this must have not been long ago. When you go there, tell them to get the telescope. And then the students and they can go out with it so that they can tie it all together. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see. And if it gets up and running, it'll probably be an opportunity for more members of the Victoria Center to go over there and do some, because if it gets big, I mean, I looked at the actually invitee list of the people that are going to be there this year are potential sponsors and representatives for tourism and parks and all those kinds of things. So it's just going to be a test run this time, but it will be a tourist event. And so they might need more people in the future to be able to deal with going there for nighttime observing and that. So it'll be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah.
Bill, don't they have the school groups stay up there?
Who?
Banfield,
Which-
aren't school groups? They tend to have school groups stay overnight for extended periods up in Banfield, right?
And the Marine Sciences Center.
Yeah, I think that's
Program
UVic. I think UVic people go there.
5 universities.
Oh, not the schools anymore. I think the schools used to be, high schools.
Well, they might, but
Oh,
there was that bad accident that happened that kind of put a limit on that. So I don't know what's going on with that now. One of the nights will be at the Marine Science Center, and one of the nights will be at one of the beaches on one of the beaches on the water taxi side. So
I just raised it as it seems like a good collaboration. You know, that people go to study the ocean and the stars in Banfield.
yeah, but this one it's a lot of work to set up an event. There have been lots of emails going back and forth between about 3 different people involved with the organization that are helping the Hawaiian Nation set this up. We'll clue you in after we get back as to what actually happens.
Thank you. This feels like a perfect way to use both your skills. I think you'll have a great time there too. So the only event that I know about in the summer that we still haven't started talking about is the Saanich Fair. Marji, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. 3 days over the long weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We had 23 volunteers.
Good number, is it insufficient?
Yeah, we had, I think there were about 5 of us who packed up materials and objects from the CU on Friday, about 11 o'clock. Took it over to the fairgrounds, set up, and we're all ready for Jeff and Kirsten the next day as leads to put materials out and greet the public. That was Saturday, Sunday. Jill and I were there with volunteers. And then Monday, Lauri was there with volunteers, and then packed everything up and took it all back. So we were very well organized. Lauri and I exchanged a pack up times. Yeah, we think that on our end on Friday, it took us about 20 minutes to get packed up from the CU and everything into truck and cars. And Lauri figured it took them a little less than 15 minutes to put everything back into the CU. Lauri and I spent a long time at the CU ahead of time, organizing the materials that are in the RASC storage room and labeling everything, because we wanted everything for both the Star Party and the Saanich Fair, everything to be easily accessible. So that was time well worth it, well spent. We did keep track until about in the middle of Sunday afternoon, well, the beginning of Sunday afternoon. about numbers of people who came to the table. And we were at about 800 at that point, because we did not, our numbers were less than that, but we forgot to keep track of the people who were looking through telescopes. And that was just as solar telescopes, that was a constant. So it seems to have been very successful. There were certainly more than 1,000 people there altogether over those 3 days. Lauri and Jill and I are having a debriefing meeting with a couple of other people on Wednesday afternoon, and we'll just look at what could we do to make the Saanich Fair experience for both volunteers and participants even better in upcoming years.
You guys rock. Thank you so much. It was hot. It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot. Yeah.
And lots of sunspots, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the sun was good.
Yeah.
It behaved, lots of prominences to
My small scope that I able to work out. It's about 8 sunspots to see.
And thanks to Alex, who was there all 3 days. Yay, Alex! Woohoo!
I was so impressed at the start party, how you could see the aureole around the spots with your telescope. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. That was really good. And people loved his big telescope. Like that was, I mean, Dave Payne, you had fabulous pictures, and Dave Lee, you had, like the terrific things, but I'm sorry, but everybody wanted to just climb the steps and see through Alex's big telescope. So. Oh dear.
I would like to see some pictures or things people, descriptions of what people did this summer.
Yeah, I could maybe start with that. There was a big deal about Jupiter and Mars getting together really, really close. And I saw the initial really, really close contact on my own. So that morning of the 14th of August was really a long shot. I went outside around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I to see a wall of cloud in the east. So being the persistent, stubborn astronomer that I am, I took my chair out onto the driveway, took my camera with me, and took my telescope with me and binos. And I stubbornly sat facing the east, even though it was just, the clouds were just full. But I did notice that maybe above about 30 degrees, there was semi-clear sky. So I was actually hoping that the objects would rise above that area at some point, or the clouds would thin, right? So I just sat there, and at 3:30, okay, I must have waited like 2 hours. So at 3:30 in the morning, I saw 4 seconds of Jupiter and Mars together. And then I waited another hour again until
We're holding our breath.
I saw the whole sky clear up, and this is what I saw. And I could, like in my photograph, I kind of just zoomed in, and I could even see Ganymede and Callisto on each side. And this is just with my little telephoto lens. But that was the most remarkable thing of the summer for me, anyways, to see. And I had to share this with the group. There's a bunch of us that were doing crazy things during the summer. Kirsten and Kevin and Alex would also come out and join me for these weird early morning, or you could call them late night events at Kettle Point. And Kirsten and Kevin both had new gear, so we had a lot of fun just exploring new equipment. And I got to use a little bit of my imaging gear as well. But on the day after this, let's see if I get this thing going here. we saw Jupiter and Mars together side by side. And I think Kirsten, you were there, Kevin was there. I don't know if Alex was there, and maybe Alex was there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Alex was almost there for every event. And of course, Ken was there imaging. So you can see his van in the corner there on the left corner. And then most of you will recognize the little info stand where the Urban Star Park thing is. But I was just amazed. This is just shot with my phone. I went really low tech this summer. So I just took my phone and imaged this. You can see the Hyades and the Aldebaran there. And then you see Jupiter and Mars here in the center. So we observed that, it was just amazing because you could see the Pleiades, you could see Pleiades, and then I don't think we could see the beginnings of Orion yet. That was later on in the summer. But then I followed it another couple of days, and then on the 17th, I took a kind of a closer shot of the configuration, and you can see how far away Jupiter and Mars had become. They were now 1.5 degrees apart rather than less than a third, right? So yeah, that was kind of a highlight of my summer. And not only did I see it on my own, I got to share it with a whole bunch of people too. So it was a lot of fun. Actually, to get to some of the early morning events, I remember setting up beside Kirsten, and she had her new scope out, and she was so proud to find these Messiers, and I was just kind of listening out of the corner of my ear, and I just had my imaging rig going. I didn't have any kind of visual stuff, so I was listening to her excitement of finding M15. So quite cheekily, I pointed my scope over to M15, and EAA wise, I captured this image, and I took my iPad and I showed this to Kirsten. Is this what you're looking at? Of course it was. So then I had to look through her scope, and yeah, it was smaller for sure, but you could definitely see it there. Hats off to everybody who came out to these early morning sessions. I had a lot of fun.
Catching the few hours of dark sky. It's only doing it in the middle of the night. That's great. Anybody else have anything to show off? Oh no, David, talk right now, because you've got the floor, about September 17th.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna continue the craziness. So this time there's gonna be an occultation of Saturn by the moon. Now I checked it out. It's gonna blink out around 4:07 our time, and then it's gonna reappear at around 4:57, I believe. So there's not a long wait between the two. The disappearance is an easy one because we'll be able to see Saturn. But I checked out the moon charts just to be sure I knew where to look when it came back out. And I think it's right across from the crater called Plutarch. So I know exactly where it is. It's right beside Mary. Yeah, Mary Christian. Yeah.
The side of the big Mari, the big.
Exactly.
Big dot in the top right.
Yeah, so as we get closer, I'll send out little maps. But if you want to stay at home and watch it, certainly. But join the crazies out at Cattle Point. Are you coming, Randy?
As long as sleep allows. I'm aiming at
Well, I think Kevin said he's coming for sure, and I think Alex, of course, said he would not miss it. So
it'd be fun to do that together.
Yes.
The pictures, it just happened last month from the UK down to Tunisia. The last time the moon went past Saturn was also an occultation. And the pictures are just beautiful. If there's still time, I might show some of those, but let's I don't know, like Dave Payne, do you have any pictures to show off from the summer?
Sure. There's been quite a few pictures by a lot of the club. I'm not prepared to show them, so if you can give me just a minute here.
Oh, I saw the YouTube of the last SIG. And there's a new member who's quite the inventor. We've got to get him to give a talk to the Astro Cafe. What's his name?
Oh,
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
yeah.
Anyway, you've got to cajole him into giving us a talk about his telescopes.
Yeah, Bill knows his name. I first heard of him through Bill. What's his name, Bill? The guy in Metchosin that builds telescopes and stuff.
You're muted.
Ted White.
Ted, yes, Ted White. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an interesting guy. Maybe I can share the screen here. So I've reached a stage with photography that I'm going more into the technical aspects of what we're looking at. And in particular, I've been looking at the birth of stars. I've been concentrating on that. And there's all sorts of stuff that you read. There's all sorts of stuff that isn't quite right. And I've just been trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. Sometimes the technical aspects delve into my technical areas of specialty. So I interpret what astronomers and astrophysicists tell me with a bit of a different lens. And it's kind of fun because it's like you've got this picture and it's like a puzzle that you've got to technically find out what's going on. And it all involves like where stars happen to be born, also is within these dark nebula. And the dark nebula themselves are dark because they're dusty. And that's why the Milky Way kind of is black and bright in spots. Where it's black, there's dust. And that dust, what it does is it cools off all the things that it surrounds. So if you can imagine, there's these big dust clouds, kind of like clouds in the sky. And within the clouds, there's a whole bunch of hydrogen, and that hydrogen will form the stars that show. And at the same time, we tend to look at different colors and different sources of light. And one of the sources of light, and you can see in this image, is this red light. And this red light is given off by, again, hydrogen. And it's actually, this picture happens to be backlit by this red hydrogen glow. And photographically, we can take that red hydrogen glow and take out all the other colors, essentially, almost all the other colors, and just left with that hydrogen glow. And you can see all these dark clouds actually turn black, and it's like smoke as this dust is between us and this glowing red hydrogen. And then when we bring in the other colors of light to the same image, we can see that there's light actually bouncing off the front of these dark clouds too. And you can see there's light around the edges, and where stars are sort of reflecting off of them. So you get a sense of where the light's coming from and where certain objects are coming from when you see them. And just for an example, and I hope you can see this on the screen, you can see a little fleck at the bottom of this L-shaped, reverse L-shaped or a boot-shaped dark cloud. And that's a new star just emerging from this dark cloud. So I don't know if it's actually ignited in fusion yet. I don't believe it is. It's actually created a little bit of a jet that you can see sort of sticking out. And by comparing these two images, one that has the backflow, I can see it's also lighting up in hydrogen, but it's actually brighter in this image. So I know that it's this side of the cloud and isn't something in the deep background. And over here, you can see there's another little fleck here. This is another star that you can see emerging from the cloud. Now, I'm not that keen an eye that I did see these flecks and wondered what they were, but there's a new facility that we can actually query Simbad, the Simbad database, that's anything in our image, and find out what it is. So I've put descriptions in all the images I put on Zenfolio over the summer. Some of them are kind of technical, so you can read them or not, but just to flick through a few images that I have taken. I've also looked at how these gases flow, and I've taken a few pictures of supernova remnants. This is a big blue monster in Cygnus. It's about, it's really, really faint, so that's why it looks, it's not the prettiest picture you'd see. But I did turn to another famous supernova remnant, the Cygnus Loop. That's a brighter, and you can see all these fine filaments that have occurred. And it's basically due to supersonic flow, which sounds impressive, but supersonic flow is roughly walking speed in this nebula. So it's so compressed, but you can see the different colors representing the different elements that are in the gas. And then I'm flipping back and forth, but now back to star formation. This is a prettier picture, and I purposely tried to make it pretty, of another molecular cloud. Again, it's bathed in that hydrogen glowing, and within these, and what makes it pretty is some of these reflections off of nearby stars. The reflections tend to be blue, as it reflects off the dust and the hydrogen in the cloud that tend to give off partly the color of the star and partly the color of the cloud, the dust itself. And over here is another funny figure. There's another star that's emerging from this dark cloud. And the reason why they come from these dark clouds is the dust blocks all the light getting in, and it gets really super cold in there. And that, we'll go into the details. And then finally, a pretty picture that I took of the Pelican Nebula. This is a dark cloud with stars arising from it. And I took this picture because a lot of these new stars come from these elephant trunks or fingers or what do you call them? Pillars of creation and that sort of stuff. You see, stars are emerging from these dark clouds. And in this one particular right here, you can see this sort of pillar has one of those jets that I was talking about in the previous image a few ago, as we saw that sort of new star jet and its associated jet emerging from the dark cloud. Well, here's one that creates a little bit of a mustache at the end of this this finger sticking out. If you get into the technical details, I'll talk about the way that these clouds flow and how you get this sort of mountainous landscape feature and how that differs from those supernova remnant strands and bubbles that we saw in the other images. So if you're interested in a little bit of a technical discussion of this, have a look at the Zenfolio. I'll be doing some more technical write-ups whenever I get the chance. And otherwise, if you just like looking at the stuff in space, just have a go. And it's not just mine. There are other photographers. I didn't want to present them on their behalf, but there are other photographers in the group that are taking absolutely stunning images as well.
Thank you so much.
Hope that wasn't too disconjointed.
No, it was inspiring. Okay, are there other people want to talk about summer things?
After that, it would be.
Well, I'm going to take the floor for an important thing in my astro life. Let me go to share. And that is that on August 25th, I celebrated, sorry, 10 years of Enkin's Daily Mood. And I had no idea that I would be doing this so long. It was just an outgrowth of my interest in collecting pictures of the moon. And it's just been going. So I thought, I'd just show you a few pictures. I started off with some absolute classics. Are you going to come up? There you go. So we could, we could go more and take a look at the source, but I'm just going to kind of zoom through a few and you can stop and say, this one a friend made for me because she knew I liked the moon. So this was how it began. And for some reason, I called it moon and then 3 digits. And then as I approached, it was the summer of 2017. You can tell me to stop anytime to say, hey, I want to look at these things. But if you don't stop me, I'm going to go up into the 900s. So you'll remember that in the summer of 2017 was the eclipse. And where are we now? 800. And so I actually, for the last 30 or so, towards 999, which I thought was going to be the end, then I really planned out how I was going to finish it off. So, and I wanted to finish it off with the eclipse. Let's start around here. So that's not the eclipse, that's Venus and the moon in occultation. That's a great picture. I forgot about that. That's an eclipse. That's a lunar eclipse. Here we go. Solar, nice old one. This is 996. I think this was the first photograph of an eclipse. When was this? This was 1878. And there was 999, and then I thought that might be it. Because I only gave it 3 digits. But I took a break. And then these were the pictures after. This is the cake that my daughter made on eclipse day.
So cute.
These are some of the great pictures that came out. I love this one. This is a double eclipse. Look at that. You see the
eye.
eclipse and the reflection of the
That's
eye.
fantastic.
So these were all from August, whatever, 2017. See, there it is. Anyway, obviously I kept going. That was about 3 years in. Let's go back and, oh yeah, I'm going to jump right to, because we were talking about it just last week. These were pictures taken of the last Saturn occultation. Again, from the UK down to Tunisia. And this is what, as long as they give us nice clear sky, this is what we can expect to see. And what's going to be different here, you can see that we're just, oh no, this is after the full moon, and it's going to be after the full moon again that's coming up, just by a few hours. So it's going to be very similar to that. But, you know, it looks different depending where you are. This is going to be very close to what we see. It's going to enter up in the northwest, and it's going to come out near the Mare Crisium. So this was a picture, I think, every 2 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. Then the last few pictures have been of astronomical clocks from churches. Oops. So that's as far as I got in my compilation. Anyway, it's been really fun. And if there's some parts of this display that you want to stop on, I'm very happy to.
I'd love to see the 1010.
You want to see the 1010, which one?
I don't know, I saw two.
There's, you know what, there's a section. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Where there are pastiches of the famous 1010 cover. I think that was in the first 1,000. We're up here, no?
Yeah, I saw it in the middle.
Oh, yeah, well, it's all middle. Those are books, Barbie dolls, Lego. Where did I do that?
So
It's been quite a project.
This is the website where you post every day.
It's Facebook and Instagram. Look up Enkin's Daily Moon.
Okay.
Oh, I have to, the New Yorker covers are just super. But there's one in particular that I have to show, but I'm going to give you a few leading up to it. I'm really in love with New Yorker covers.
Me too.
I love that one.
But this is the one that blows me away, because look at the date. This is August 22nd, 1942. So just imagine the situation. It's World War II. This is obviously some American kid, you know, drafted and probably did not want to go to Europe and kill people. But then he looks up at the moon and he feels somehow that there, you know, there's something good out there. This one actually gives me chills, this picture. I think it's amazing that in the contemporary situation, that's how an artist decided to portray the war. amazing.
Look at his hand on his chin. Right? Like he's just sitting there like this. Looking at, oh, that's wonderful.
Knowing what dreadful thing he has to do.
Yeah.
This one is one of my favorite things in the whole.
What does it say? I can't read it. On the moon. What does the moon?
Oh, yeah, let's take a look. It's.
You.
Will anybody see that? Or.
Oh, you ready?
I don't know, somebody put a stamp on it.
It's a stamp.
Yeah, it's just a stamp. It wasn't,
No.
this is a
no.
palimpsest.
Yeah.
And it costs 15 cents.
Oh dear, yeah, what's it cost now? $9?
It is from
Oh, thanks. I think Randy, I really enjoy when you post all different kinds of things. You're very inventive when you're going to see where you can find things. So it's wonderful. Thank you.
I thought I would fit it. I thought I would run out. Oh,
There they are. There they are.
I don't know if you remember, there was a whole thing when Hillary Clinton was running for president about wearing a safety pin. I don't remember what it was a symbol of, but this was from around that time. So I had to do a thing on safety pins. Kind of topical for these days.
It's amazing though, to see what the moon means to our imaginary.
That's the thing. Why am I doing this? All around the world, in every culture and throughout time, the moon is taken as a symbol.
Yeah, signifies things.
The passage of time, femininity, night and light at night.
And hope, like.
Yeah, it's a great symbol. And there's not many things that you could do a collection like this with.
No, not the sun really.
Oh, you probably could do it with the sun
Well,
too.
you could, but not as much as the moon.
But yeah, I haven't run out of topics.
That's amazing.
10 years on.
Bravo.
So that's, you know, it wasn't just the summer, but the important thing this summer, I was quite amazed, 10 years on August 25th. And you know, it's just one of those projects that it's.
Getting dizzy.
Do you present on this? It's so interesting.
I present on the moon, yeah, I'm the moon guy.
I mean, these images on the.
Yeah, oh, more New Yorkers. Haven't run out of those. I'm still looking for those 1010.
Thank you.
They're in here somewhere, I just don't remember where.
I should have stopped you, but.
Yeah, and again, if there's something you want to stop, that's fine.
So if we find an image for you, what we do is follow you on Facebook.
Yeah, send them. I love recommendations. Many of the people on this group have said, "What about?" And oh, I'm at the beginning again. Something happened.
The 1010
And the number
is
two.
around 800.
890.
What? What did you say?
Peter just said the 1010.
890.
Yeah.
890. Let's do it. 890. As it goes by so fast, you saw that, eh? That's good. Not 890.
8 something.
You saw some around here. Oh, there you
There
go.
they are. There they are.
There you go. Okay.
There they are.
So this was the original. And quite amazing that so much that Hergé did in that magazine actually came out to be true. So Eli Marji was that was when Neil Armstrong died. That means he stepped on the moon or walked on the moon. Intermarché, so that's you know, a supermarket in France. In my shade, oh, that's, somebody made a market on the moon. Walked on the invisible hand.
Hmm.
On a tweeted. Put my more shades in, so I gotta make that a little bit bigger, but they've got little handhelds in their hands saying that they tweeted up there.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound as good as called X now.
Yeah, on a marché dans la mer.
Yes.
Et tu viens, on rentre. Attends, je n'ai pas fini. And so he's reading the book and he doesn't want to go back to the lunar module. Now we're doing another thing. I kind of go about a week at a time on a thing. And right now I am doing pictures of the Earth and Moon. I haven't put it in this compilation yet, so we got to go here and go to Enkin's Daily Moon. And that doesn't look like Enkin's Daily Moon. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, so right now I'm doing pictures of the Earth and Moon from space. So this was Galileo en route to Jupiter. That was this morning's. This one is Cassini on its way to Saturn. This was the first picture from space of the Earth and Moon. There's, yeah, I put this up and Lauri says, I was there 2 weeks ago. Okay, that's what I wanted to share. And unless there's somebody else who wants to say something, it is time. So
It's time.
Yeah, it's time to go.
I don't use Facebook much, but I'll go back on.
Maybe I'll just say one thing to help me.
oh yeah, Wednesday. Somebody has to, thank you. Somebody has to talk about the speaker on Wednesday. Alex, can you?
I think Kirsten organized.
I can talk about it.
Of course.
Given I was asked to take on the role of organizing the speakers for the UVic meetings for this year back in April or May. So yeah, thanks for the reminder about that. And I've actually meant to get a reminder email out to everybody today. Actually, I meant to do that today because Wednesday is coming up very fast. I've used Sky News. I'm not exactly sure what Sky News is as a distribution list, but it seemed to be that might be the biggest one. So that's what I chose to use as a distribution list for the meeting. It'll 7:30 up at UVic. It's at in the Bob Wright Center again. In the lecture hall, main lecture hall there. The speaker, her name is Jess Speedie, and she is going to be, she's a PhD candidate up at the university. And she did a similar talk up at the center of the universe in the summer. And I actually approached her at that time and asked if she'd be interested in repeating the presentation for RASC members because I thought it would be a really interesting talk. There's some really interesting visuals and a lot of really good graphics and visuals about planet formation in exoplanet formation in interstellar disks. And so, yeah, so I think it's going to be a good presentation, a good talk, and I hope we get a good turnout.
What date?
It's this
This
Wednesday.
coming Wednesday.
This
Yeah,
Wednesday.
September 11th. These meetings are when they happen, I think at this point, the plan is that they're going to happen every month. Not 100% sure on that yet, but we have speakers. I've got speakers now confirmed for September, October, November, and December. There'll be information coming out about each of those shortly on the web. But I think the plan is to have a monthly meeting and speaker up at UVic between now, September, and May. So I think that is the plan. But they happen every second Wednesday of the month. That's the traditional time. And at 7:30, although the location may change periodically, because I think Alex booked the room, I think until the end of November, but I think December might be a bit of a question because of the exam schedule. So we'll see where the room location will be.
Thank you very much.
I just thought to add one thing. I
Yes,
think
sure.
you know him, but we came across how we got here. In fact, was a high school student wrote a book about stars and had the telescope out at the Moss Street meets in.
Oh, Nathan. Nathan.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
mention that.
Yes, he's a member.
Oh, yeah, yes.
He usually comes to Astronomy, doesn't he? Or
You
not?
know what? He hasn't been, he's a high school student who's very busy.
Right.
I'm going to do that.
Mhm.
But he was out all day, you know,
Yeah.
logging his book with the telescope. We were all looking out.
Yeah. Good for Nathan.
He's everybody's pet here.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I loaned in my solar telescope for the eclipse.
Oh,
Okay, we'll see you next week.
Here and Wednesday, otherwise.
And Wednesday, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.